in the commentary positions. Tony Ray has joined them as well, but the first voice we'll hear will be that of Rod Studd. Good afternoon, Rod.
Good afternoon to you, Eddie. As you mentioned a few minutes ago, the bottom teams from the last two Super League seasons, Widnes in 2012, Salford in 2013, but both now have much loftier ambitions. Widnes doing it the slow and steady way, 14th in 2012, 10th last year, and now up to 6th. But Salford, under their new owner Marwan Kukas, well, if he doesn't quite want success yesterday, he certainly wants it today. And at the moment, they sit outside the playoff places. Widnes knocked them out of the cup. Dr. Kukas to describe that as the worst experience of his sporting life. Will they get revenge this afternoon, do you think, Paul?
Well, I'm sure the Widnes Vikings didn't take to that kind of statement to, you know, the Widnes are a very tough, honest, workman-like side, you know, so I thoroughly deserved the victory that day. Widnes almost full strength, a side that's grown in confidence with every game they've played, even the good hidings they've had, and since their return to Super League. They're certainly going to have to spend some time keeping their eye on that play there today, Gareth Hock, for the Salford Red Devils.
Well, Widnes after a hat-trick of wins this season over the Devils, because they won in the Super League earlier on the season as well. We've got an injury, 32-14 on the 6th of March. And referee Tim Roby blows an early stoppage to proceedings.
Yeah, I think it was a carry from Gareth Hock, wasn't it? So carried very forcefully into Danny Craven, but he just got his head the wrong side of the ball carrier there, and that's caused a problem. Rightly so. We've had the physio, the doctor rushed onto the field to make sure that any possible head injury is treated properly.
Gareth Hock was on Widnes' books last season, if you recall, on loan from the Wigan Warriors. Didn't play in the Magic game, though, which was Widnes against Salford last year, but Craven has copped that just in the wrong spot, Paul.
Well, I don't quite know what part of Gareth Hock's body you can target to get a clean, legitimate shot on. He's all knees and elbows, and I mean that legitimately. He's a very difficult man to tackle, but it's a mismatch. It's one that Salford have to exploit. Hopefully, Danny Craven gets back to his feet, but if he doesn't, you know, that's a second row forward of international standing against the halfback. It's something that Salford must do all afternoon.
Well, Widnes have got problems at halfback anyway, as we watch the rerun of Gareth Hock's knee colliding with Danny Craven's head, because Joe Mellor, of course, is their first choice halfback, and was playing brilliantly, and in fact got a hat-trick in this occasion last year, but he's out injured at the moment.
I think one thing you probably need to look at, and the match review panel will certainly take an interest in the way that Gareth Hock just lifted his knee as he went into the tackle, which probably added to the injury. I'm not saying that the injury wouldn't have occurred anyway because of Danny Craven's position, but certainly the way that the knee was raised going into it would be of interest to the match review panel.
It's not a natural running position to leave the knee fractionally in the air before you go into contact. You think you might have it on the floor, leg driving through to offer some pace, some agility, some power going through. But if Lloyd White does get to the field, usually a hooker, dummy half by trade, but can shift about, player of great pace and great versatility.
Well, he wouldn't be expected to be coming on after 39 seconds, that's for sure, Lloyd White. And Danny Craven making his magic debut for Dennis Betts' side. It looks like it's only going to last a matter of seconds.
It'll put pressure on John Clark, because I'm certain that Lloyd White would probably have been used as a rotation at dummy half, but it'll be John Clark, I believe, will be staying out now for the full 80 should Danny Craven leave the field. Warm work for John Clark, John. He's nearly as old as you. He's 35. And still going strong. He is, like you, John. But yeah, it's going to be tough. It's tough because most teams now rotate the two hookers around, don't they, Tony? And if you're going to have to do the full 80 minutes in this heat, that is tough work.
Sorry, yeah, very much so. It's going to put a lot of pressure on both Clark and Lloyd White. I think it's a significant injury in the game. When I looked at the two team sheets, you can see they're both tower teams. Both of them have got big forward packs. They're going to cancel each other out. And I did think Widnes might have the edge in turning them around with their kicking game. And Craven would have been a big part of that. Now that becomes a little bit more even now, because with Mullaney going to halfback, I was wondering how the pressure of the kicking game on Rangi Chase, can he get him in control, sit him behind the big pack? If you look where the play the ball's about to happen when we restart play off a kickoff set, Salford have got themselves down to halfway in 4 with another play to come, so the kicking game off the back of that is going to be very influential. And I was wondering how Mullaney would be able to deal with Chase, as Chase can be a little bit erratic in that. Let's have a look at his knee going in there, Stuart. He does lead with the knee. He definitely does lift it.
Does come up, and it's going into the collision where his leg is coming up. And as I said before, you know, the match review panel will certainly show some interest in that, and that's probably added to the injury.
He looked like he was trying to get the elbows into the bump, with the natural position of power is to get your weight over the top of the knee and get the elbow, which is okay to do. And this seemed that Craven got in underneath it. It does look a worrying injury for
it does. Yeah,
I hope he is okay there.
Yeah, I mean, the medical staff have been on there and making a thorough examination of Danny Craven. Every medical care will be taken, we know that, and there's a lot of medical staff out there, so he's in the best hands. But it doesn't look good for Danny Craven at all. Let's just hope he's okay, obviously.
Well, Tony touched on the point there on rotation. If John Clark has to stay on the field, he's already in games so far this season on rotation opted to stay at loose forward, just drop back in the pack as Widnes make that rotation. So especially when you've got players like Alex Gerrard, a prop forward by trade, operating at loose forward. They're basically operating with 3 props. John Clark usually switches to loose forward, so he has got the miles in the legs if needed to be able to stay on the field with either Willie Isa or McGrath Luluai dropping into that loose forward situation.
I'll tell you what, though, Rod, it's really good how the RFL have insisted upon this on-the-field care, and all the doctors, all the physio are very, very well trained in order to ensure that these fantastic athletes are looked after in the best possible manner.
And we also know, John, that there's much stricter rules on concussion now. Any player exhibiting any signs of concussion has to be removed from the field to be properly checked out, and quite properly so as well, because the last thing you want is people that have got a blow on the head going back into a dangerous contact situation.
Exactly right, and player welfare is paramount, and it's got to be. It's a very, very tough sport. There's lots of it. I don't think it's a contact sport. I call it a collision sport, and you have to be a very brave man to play this game of rugby league, and they do need the best possible attention, care and attention, and that's exactly what he's getting.
Well, Danny Craven leaves the field, and Tim Roby, the referee, has put this on report. As Stuart Cummins was alluding to, the raised knee from Gareth Hock is what's attracted the attention of Tim Roby, the referee, and it will be reviewed by the match review panel. But the most important thing is that Danny Craven gets the correct medical attention, and let's hope he is okay.
Very interested on that first play there where Danny Craven was 2 in. He was outside his centre, because Widnes have sussed out so far that that's a play that Gareth Hock was going to attempt. I don't mean the knee collision. He was going to target the halfback. They couldn't have got him any further to the edge if they'd have possibly tried.
And the big one as well, Rod, is the fact that's a free interchange, because it's been put on report. The injury will not count towards an interchange, so Widnes still have got their full 10 interchanges.
Yeah, they are, of course, down now to 16 players they can use, so Dennis Betts' options of shuffling players around is severely reduced, even though they have still got 10 choices. Willie Isa, McGrath Luluai and Paul Johnson and the other players on the bench, so Dennis Betts is going to have to do some real thinking on the hoof and on the run.
It's almost nullified, hasn't it, the options that Salford have taken so far, with Jake Mullaney out fullback playing at scrum half, because Kevin Brown and Danny Craven are obviously experienced 6s and 7s. Mullaney's been ousted from fullback because Greg Eden's in the shape here, and he won't be there next year because Kevin Locke is going to be playing for the Red Devils, I presume, at fullback. So that switch around of halfback has been nullified by default in the opening few moments.
Well, this is the guy they got playing fullback at the moment. Greg Eden on loan from Hull Kingston Rovers, wasn't able to play last weekend when Hull KR went to Salford. That finished 16 apiece. Eden had to sit that one out. He's been around almost everywhere since he was described as the next Billy Slater by the then Huddersfield coach Nathan Brown. He even played one game up at Gateshead earlier this season, but he's at the Salford Red Devils at the moment as they make progress towards the Widnes line. Logan Tompkins, another man on loan, had his hands on the ball there briefly. He's on loan from the Wigan Warriors. No Tompkins at the Wigan Warriors anymore, though paper talk that Joel Tompkins might be on his way back at some point. Rangi Chase steps through a couple of tackles, makes half a break. Rangi Chase, the mercurial former England international, I suppose we must call him these days. Kick forward from Tompkins. It tipped off a Widnes Viking, and referee Tim Roby says the ball has been knocked forward by Salford, and Widnes will get the scrum down.
A lot of pressure on the Widnes Vikings very early on. Was that a knock-on from Christie? The referee didn't say so. He's awarded that against Junior So. He said it went backwards. But you have to go with that. A little bit of a respite for the Widnes Vikings. Under pressure, half back off the field. And they didn't want to be defending a set of 6 on their own try line so early on.
Well, both sets for the Salford Red Devils, they really have matched the Vikings back with some very aggressive carries and plenty of ball movement as well. So they'll be happy how they started this game.
May just be a degree or two cooler than it was at high noon when the Catalan Dragons took on the London Broncos. If you're just joining us, Catalan Dragons scrambling home. 24-22, a missed drink water conversion, the difference between the teams in the end as London lost for a 13th straight week and the Dragons go up into the top 8. Widnes we're sitting in 6th at the start of the weekend, having a loss last weekend to the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats at home. So trying to get back on track, and they're going to get a penalty here. Widnes. Tim Roby blows his whistle. A penalty very useful, just short of halfway. They'll start a new set, probably about 20 metres from the try line.
I was just about to say that you can see a difference, apart from the penalty, of course, in this game from the first match we saw in between the London Broncos and the Catalan Dragons, because the teams aren't making that much yardage, because the collision, the work in defence, is that much better from both sides.
Kevin Brown had his hands on the ball there and found Hanbury. Brown, arguably the best player in the Super League competition over the first half of the tournament. If there was a halfway house man of steel, he might well be favourite. Man of stainless steel, perhaps. He scored 10 tries and created 9 others for the Widnes Vikings in Super League. Outstanding performer, and he has missed a couple of games as well. He is the go-to guy. Gets his hands on the ball once more, Kevin Brown. Every time now with the switch of half-back, because Danny Craven's gone off injured, it will be all down to Kevin Brown instead of probably 95% of it. Alex Gerrard will drive it in. Logan Tompkins and Tony Pullatua are there to knock him down. As Widnes 2 tackles in the bank, right on the try line here. What can they conjure up close to the line? Again, it's Brown, a long ball. It could be the first try, it is. And Kevin Brown creates another try. And Paddy Flynn has dived in at the corner. Simple finish for the winger, all made by the skill, creativity and craft of Kevin Brown.
Well, that's an outstanding response from the Widnes Vikings to their right-hand side. Lloyd White involved in the play. He could never have believed he was going to be a link player on a move like that so early on in a game. Kevin Brown, beautiful miss-out pass, leaves Christine alone, hits Paddy Flynn, and not for the first time of this season. Paddy Flynn back to his best form, scoring tries out wide on the right wing for the Widnes Vikings.
Do not, Paul, underestimate the skill there of that left to right shift. For most people, it's the more difficult way to pass left to right. And Lloyd White's pass, I thought, was spot on there to Kevin Brown. He was able to catch it out and make the slight adjustment. But the pass from Brown to Flynn was absolutely exquisite. It hardly to break stride, to cross over there. And Francis Mellor just caught a little tight. But the skill there in that pass just bought Flynn that space on the outside. Absolute quality.
Well, you 3 pick teams for a living, so should Kevin Brown actually now being picked for England?
Yes. Yes, I think he's the best stand-up half in Super League at this moment in time. His form's warranted that. And I've been looking forward today to seeing Brown v Chase. Well, that's 1-0 to Brown.
Tony, should Kevin Brown be playing for England?
Oh, it's impossible to argue against that. He's doing everything you want him to do. He reads the play so well. He's coming up with big plays. He sits calmly out the back. He picks off his marks. His runners run with such confidence. You know, you look for a playmaker to get players around them playing with confidence. He does that so well.
Since Paul Cullen was instrumental in Widnes signing him in the first place from Huddersfield, I waste my time asking you, Paul. We know how highly you rate him, and he had an injury start to his Widnes career, didn't he? Injury hit start, and he's really coming into fruition now.
His qualities as a player have been, are there for all to see. It's simply a matter of fact. His character and what he gives you off the field was the most important part of that signing.
Well, Danny Tickle, signing in the close season by Widnes from Hull. One of the most lethal goal kickers in the competition. This one will test his goal-kicking expertise, and he just shoves it wide across the face of the posts. Widnes lead 4-0.
The worry for me on that try conceded by the Salford Red Devils, that it was against their shall we say, better left edge. That's where all their better players are in their preferred and best positions. Yeah, I might have thought that Widnes might have gone to their left, Salford's right, because Jake Mullaney's defending 3 in on the right-hand side. He's a fullback. He's probably basically never defended in the line in his entire career. And they didn't exploit it. They went to their stronger side and still beat them.
It was interesting, I thought, in the set. We saw, if you could see again, Phil Joseph's on his feet as he plays the ball. We saw earlier when Salford gave a penalty away, which got them to the field position. They couldn't put a man to the ground. The entire set, despite their size and power, the set before, Salford couldn't get Widnes to the floor. And again, you can see the Widnes man on his feet and fighting, leaning forward. So at the moment, Widnes are really winning the ground war here against a very strong Salford team.
Widnes, who won 32-18 in the Super League at home in March against Salford. Kevin Brown got 2 tries that day. They won at Salford in the Challenge Cup, 30 points to 20, and handed a pretty kind draw, you have to say, against Keighley Cougars. Would be almost nailed on to reach the semi-finals as Brown goes very, very long. It almost went over the head of Williams on the far side, but he's managed to stretch back and pick it up and get Salford moving forward again.
Here's the graph now that we have to see from sides who want to progress. Completed set, very good kick, reasonable chase, and look at the numbers. 3 in minimum, slowing the play, the ball down, controlling the speed at which Salford can return this ball, and that's the mark of a side that's improving.
Well, let's get down to the sideline and get news from pitch side from Graham Beecroft.
Well, I'm glad to say it's relatively good news as far as Danny Craven is concerned, because of course he went off with his neck in a splint, but he is on his feet now. He is in the dressing room on his feet. He's got a head and neck injuries. He won't be playing any further part in the game, needless to say, so he's not coming back on, but the news is relatively good, Rod. Thank
you, Graham. So Danny Craven, we had that lengthy delay for that nasty injury. And hopefully, as Graham says, it's a lot less serious than it could have been. Widnes leading then 4-0 from the try from Paddy Flynn. And Danny Craven, having left the field, now getting attention in the Widnes changing room.
One thing that Widnes might miss in the absence of Danny Craven is that long kick from positions on the field like this. As an academy player, we see him there. Well, he's on the phone, he's ringing home telling everybody he's okay. He has an outstandingly long, accurate kick. John Clark, left foot from that side of the dummy half, putting boot to ball on that occasion. It's something that might just catch Widnes out.
That's really clever, isn't it, from John Clark? And that's his experience showing through. You know, he's had one of his kickers from first receiver taken out of the game, so now he's taking responsibility from dummy half, jumps out the left-hand side, puts a left-footed kick against the grain, almost gets a 40-20 might I add, but that's just great because he's bought territory, he's got out of play, they can all now re-energise and get ready for a real tough, busy defensive set.
Well, John Clark's 35th birthday was last week. This is 18th Super League season, and that is a record to be very proud of. Dennis Betts said he was Widnes' best player by a mile last season, 2013, and still going strong at 35.
Well, the Widnes motto, I think unofficially, is about building culture. John Clark plays an immense part in that. Very decent fella, great professional. Brings all his qualities to every single game and training session.
Sowers found Francis Melly, who certainly knows where the try line is, and he's the same age as Clark, 35, but has scored 145 tries in 224 career appearances. Astonishing record for Francis Melly, powerhouse winger on this left wing for Salford. Salford, though, now is centre field. Last tackle in this sequence. Rangi Chase floating it towards Francis Melly, and Flynn, who scored at one end, has denied Melly getting hold of that one at this end. And did well there, Paddy Flynn, actually, A, to claim it, and B, to stay in the field of play.
Good wing play, wasn't it? Very, very intelligent wing play there. Reeled the ball in, found the floor, and obviously as soon as Melly touched him, the tackle's completed. So very clever from Paddy Flynn. He's had a real good start to this game.
Well, it's the second straight season in which the teams have met at the Magic Weekend. Last year, Salford won this game 28-22, thanks to a late try from Jordan James. But James is one of 14 players who played for Salford that year who no longer on the club's books. It just shows how quickly things have turned around under Marwan Kukas. Only Martin Gleeson, Darryl Griffin and Matty Ashurst are left for the Salford Red Devils, who were then, of course, the Salford City Reds.
But that's been an outstanding defensive set there from Salford. A great response there. They've come down and built pressure. Melly's kick to the corner was a really good contest. And look at the field position they've got now. That's the first tackle, and they're right on the 40. So they're turning the screws a bit here.
Yeah, Widnes didn't get past the 20-metre mark on 5 plays, so that completion rate for Widnes is going to be very important, and the quality of that kick. They're in a little bit of trouble here. They just need to be able to hang on.
Well, Rangi Chase will simply love it to get a set starting halfway inside the Widnes half, and Chase trying to squirm away, finds Logan Tompkins. Tompkins stepping one way and then is just wrapped up by 2 Widnes Vikings. Ben Kavanagh came over the top to stop the Wigan Warrior getting the ball away. Salford's best attacking situation of the match. Jake Mullaney playing at half-back, as far as we know, for the first time in his career. His time in Australia is always a fullback. Chase again, just dinking it over the top. That should be easy, and it is, and it'll be a 20-metre restart. Chase got it wrong by probably a foot or 2.
Well, there's a very familiar pattern developing so far and so early on in this game. Whenever the Red Devils get good field position, simply look up and see where Rangi Chase is, because that's where the ball is going to go. Every time Salford get a look of a shot, the ball goes to Rangi Chase.
A bit of a worry was that he was first receiver there. I think Rangi plays better when he's got a bit of space and he gets out on those edge defenders. So I know Mullaney took the ball over to the right-hand side a couple of times. I think one adjustment would be for Rangi, not to steer the ship so much, but to get out the back and feed off some of those plays.
Yeah, you're quite right, Tony. It's not just a case of him being first option. For the vast majority of the time, he's the only option, isn't he?
Yeah, an interference there at the play of the ball. Tompkins there just spending a little too long there in the squeeze, and that's bought Widnes, a bit of field position.
Well, there have been chopping and changing a half-back for Salford. As we know, Teo Farge is injured, and Tim Smith's whole future at Salford Red Devils is in doubt at the moment. He's been left out for the last few weeks. We don't know what's going to happen to Tim Smith and whether he has a future at the club. He was a big money signing from Wakefield in the off-season or towards the back end of last season. Let's see what Widnes have got in the locker this time. Appeared to just drift forward, but referee Tim Roby was happy with it as John Clark moves in at dummy half of the Vikings, looking for where Kevin Brown is. He's on John Clark's left. There he is. Brown floats a little kick through. It's loose for a minute. If it's picked up, it could be a try. It's very close to the try line. Referee Tim Roby is going to have a look. Lloyd White was crawling towards the line. The ball was bobbling. The ball was bouncing. Did he get it down on the try line?
I think he's looking for a number of things in the build-up to here. Interference and on the chase, the collision, and does he end up with the ball over the line? So because it's going to come from a kick, we have to check to see whether the players are onside. It certainly looks like the chaser going through is behind the ball. He has to have both feet behind the ball to be placed onside, and it certainly looks like he has there. So that'll be play on from that situation. We'll move to the next piece of the jigsaw, trying to put it all together. It comes down to 2 players almost colliding as the ball comes through. I think it's play on from there. So it's what happens on the ground in the in-goal area. It'll be quite close because both players look like they're both going for the ball at the same time. It all depends on whether the player going for the ball gets possession of it and slides over the line.
He was very brave, wasn't he, Stuart Lloyd White there? He really did put his body on the line for the cause. And it'd be real interesting to see whether that bravery has been rewarded with 4 points.
Here we go. We might get a look at here. It looks like he get the ball cleanly. Oh, but perhaps we need to get a little bit closer to see that. Again, it comes down to who is in possession when that ball goes over the line. And does he pick the ball up cleanly?
It's a very tough one, Stuart.
We're getting to the point now, I think. Your referee's working on this. Here we go. Well, Widnes player has possession, retains possession. Still got his arm around the ball. 2 of them wrestling for it. The Widnes player, you'd have to say, has got possession at that point. Does Gareth Hock hold him up? I think Gareth Hock's kept the ball up off the ground. That looks like it's held up for me. The actual view of the referee on the ref cam. Yeah, we can see that the Widnes player manages to get the ball.
I think that might be Daryl Griffin, you know. Well, that's great agility for a prop forward, isn't it?
I don't see the ball being on the ground there at all at any time. I would think this will be a no try and ball held up.
Well, I like the play from Brown in the build-up, kicking against the grain. I like the play from Lloyd White, his bravery following up. And I like the agility there from Griffin.
He didn't get the ball to the ground. He was held up. Lloyd White. It will be a goal line dropout, though, because Lloyd White tried to gather it and get it over the line, couldn't do so. Daryl Griffin deemed to now have possession and deemed to be held up over his own try line by Ian Smith and Steve Ganson, who are at the video ref controls.
That was almost above and beyond the call of duty for Daryl Griffin. Big prop forwards still on the field. Widnes have already rotated their two prop forwards about 3 or 4 minutes ago. The worrying part for me, from the Salford Red Devils perspective, is that Widnes have been down there twice now and crossed the whitewash twice. Scored one and obviously had one there chalked off.
Well, here they come again via the second repeat set. Danny Tickle had his hands on the ball. John Clark's in there once more. Alex Gerrard shipping the ball on instead of taking it into contact, showing a little bit of ball handling skills, the big man. Clark involved once more. Down now Kevin Brown as Widnes shift it to that left-hand side. Will they whip it back across to this side? Well, they've had a fair amount of joy on the near side to us. That's the Widnes right. That's where Paddy Flynn scored their try. Kevin Brown coming across the face of the Salford defence once more. Good stuff this from Widnes, bringing Hambry in now, and now Dean, and now Flynn! And Flynn goes through 2 tackles, but eventually is dragged down right on the try line. This is the final tackle in this set. Flynn thought he was going to get his second of the Magic weekend. Chip forward, plenty of Widnes Vikings in there. The kick is too strong and beats all 3 or 4 of them. Hambry was closest to the ball.
Well, goodness me, Widnes do look dangerous. Martin Gleeson, very sharp. Great quick tap restart. Gleeson, as always, ball in both hands and ready to tip on.
Now a penalty. Messing around as Salford looked for a quick play of the ball. They did get a quick tap, as Paul Collins said. They almost got a quick play of the ball. And Widnes, getting in and amongst things, have conceded a penalty.
This is a good game, you know. This is a really good game. Widnes are looking very threatening. Salford are making yards as well and building field position. And there's obviously a great urgency and desire in both teams to play with the foot flat down on the accelerator.
Mentioned all the changes that Salford in team personnel from this time last year. Brian Noble was the coach then. He didn't last long this season. Yestin Harris has had 6 games in charge since they made the switch in the head coaching role. He won the first of those at Bradford over a month ago. It hasn't tasted success since. A draw last week against Hull KR stopped the run, stopped a run of 4 defeats. Here's Tompkins, now Chase, and Chase is expansive. Good chance here. Sow, he's got nobody outside him. Sow! Junior Sow! Too much pace, too much power. Salford on level terms. The doctor has received the prescription he wanted. Sow, the try scorer.
Salford set up, great field position, smartness from Martin Gleeson. Quick tap, Dave Allen had no option in his own man but to stick a foot out, concede that penalty.
Yeah, there's a penalty there. I think it's Dave Allen, really, who doesn't get away from the ruck headers and try to play it. And look at Chase's pass here. It's absolutely sensational. It attracts Christine into the lead runner. That opens the space upon the outside. And he's a big fella, is that Junior Sow. I just love this pass from Rangi Chase, right in the line. And Junior Sow is not going to be stopped from there. Big man.
And he's just the Junior Sow. John, there's probably a senior Sow somewhere. The doctor celebrates the try for the Salford Red Devils, and Junior Sow gets his 5th try of the season in all competitions. One of his previous ones was against Widnes in the Challenge Cup. Yestin Harris sees his side, level the scores. Can they go in front here? Mulaney's goal kicking has not been 100% reliable this year by any stretch of the imagination. This is a tricky one. It's a gem. It's an absolute gem from Jake Mulaney. Salford lead 6-4.
Jake Mulaney's contribution, not only with the kick there to the try, was very significant. He actually did allow Rangi Chase to get out to the second receiver, as Paul mentioned earlier in the play. Mulaney's pass there was to Chase, so Chase could put the ball on, but so finally Chase wasn't the first receiver, he was the second receiver, and that's hard for Mulaney. The fullback is asked to get right in the teeth, get right in amongst the forwards, and he come up with a wonderful pass to Chase, and as we know, Chase on those edges is dynamite.
How good was that from Junior Sau? Very subtle, but a decisive decision. I thought he might just straighten up, tip the ball to his winger. He didn't. He swapped arms, stuck it firmly under the left wing, and powered across the whitewash.
Just
when you're that big,
his way over, didn't he?
When you're that big, you can do that. Yeah.
No need to run round when you can run over, John, is there?
They call that the Samoan sidestep, don't they? Right over the top here.
Penalty Salford, high tackle, says Tim Roby. And Sau was on the wrong end of it.
Well, Paddy Flynn are probably a little bit rattled by that previous power run from Junior Sau, and score gone a little bit high. There's more than enough of Junior Sau under the hairdo and under the neck to get some good contact in, and Paddy Flynn has got to go a little bit lower.
Well, Junior Sau was the first signing at the start of the Red Devolution. It came last season. They announced early last season that he'd be joining for this year. From down under in Australia, played for Newcastle and Melbourne down there. He started it all off, and now we've seen many, many more. And Kevin Locke coming into the team next year. Chase is through! Rangi Chase, sidestepping, hot stepping! Rangi Chase, 2 tries in 2 minutes here for Salford. Referee Tim Roby says he wants to consult the video referees, but Chase believes he's scored for Salford, and Chase believes he's put them 10-4 in front.
They're going to check to see if there's an obstruction here, and very often when a player comes through a big gap like that, it's very often the case. So it'll be interesting to see how this works. Taking the ball on the outside, and it's certainly the widnes defender has been committed to the Salford player, so that should be play on from there. There's nothing wrong with this. This should be a great try.
And the decision is... must be a try. The speed of the decision was the clue, because as Stuart Cummins says absolutely nothing wrong, and that was the view of Ian Smith. He pressed the green light, and Salford in a twinkling of an eye have turned the match around completely. From 4-0 down, they're going to be 12-4 in front.
Well, this is how they got the field position. Paddy Flynn far too high on Junior Sau. And it's one thing that widnes have to tighten up on, apart from that in discipline, is you can't defend that wide at the dummy half with players like Logan Tompkins moving from dummy half, and Rangi Chase with his power, his pace and his vision. He saw that all the way through. Lovely little show and go sidestep. He has every trick in the book.
Oh, Rangi Chase, 9 assists this season in Super League. Only his second try. He's never been a try scorer. He's always been a try creator. But today, 4 points.
I'm going to say that wasn't a bad try though, Rod, was it? It's superb, and the execution was absolutely first class. He just took the ball on the outside of the lead runner, and that's what makes it a legal play, and that's what obviously opened up that gap. And then his twinkle toes demonstrated when he went through against Reece Handry.
He had a lot of Euston Harris all over. It's a real Wigan play, that one. It looked like Logan Tompkins knew what he was doing, and Rangi Chase ran the line. There's been a significant interchange there. I see John Clark's come off, and it looks like an injury. Limped off. He's been treated down in the dugout with the injury to Craven, now an injury to Clark. It's going to be a difficult period here for widnes with the momentum against them.
I mentioned them. 3 bodies in a tackle. Lloyd White going a little bit low on that occasion. Referee just allows that to take its natural course. You know, the widnes pack, Kavanagh and Phil Joseph went off very early on. Willie Isa and McGrath Luluai were the rotations. It is a big blow. John Clark on the touchline being treated. Phil Joseph on the bicycle. Ben Kavanagh just behind him. Basically all witnessing size and power and experience. He's sat on the sidelines.
Well, if John Clark has got a serious problem there that's going to prevent him coming back on, then Dennis Betts has got an even bigger problem, because we know they're down one man in Danny Craven, who won't be back. They can ill afford to be down another, especially in a pivot position. So let's see what they do here, having conceded twice, remember, in 2 minutes. 2 quick tries from Junior Sau and Rangi Chase. Not a great try scorer, but certainly a try scorer of great tries, as we saw there. A wonderful sidestepping run from the standoff of the Salford Red Devils. Here's his opposite number, Kevin Brown, involved. Briefly, McGrath Lulawai carts it forward within 10 metres of the Salford Red Devils line. Brown, oh, that is an absolute gem. That is an absolute gem from Kevin Brown. Jack Owens is the try scorer, but frankly, all he had to do was catch it and put it down. Kevin Brown spotted that the defence had drifted in and just went up and over. And Widnes get their second try. Wonderful.
I think because of the reshuffle, they've got Willie Isa on the other side of the field playing half-back. They didn't need to consider it because Kevin Brown has picked an absolutely inch-perfect pass. His vision was superb. Jack Owens scores without a finger being laid on him, and that's a bitter blow to the Salford Red Devils. Yes, they can score superb tries like the one we've just seen from Rangi Chase, but at some point you've got to defend your try line as well. Kevin Brown is the go-to man, and especially when you've had so many changes to your hookers and halfbacks, you have to be able to number up and recognise that Kevin Brown is the Widnes playmaker.
Well, why do you need two halfbacks when you've got one as good as that? That was absolutely, again, a sublime skill. And his smartness as well in reading the situation. He had his head up. He went from open side to short side. That gave them the extra number. And again, execution of skill. You don't have to break stride if you're a wingman for Widnes with the long pass. And Jack Owen just in stride, took the ball, plonked it over the whitewash. It's great to watch. Absolutely sensational.
Well, the last of Kevin Brown's 4 England caps was back in 2010. I'm sure Steve McNamara is watching on the other side of the world. And Brown at the moment is looking to stand out, stand off. Had a terrible time with injuries when he joined Widnes. Was in and out of the team, ankle, had all sorts of problems, but now fully fit and firing again. He looks a different class.
I think that's what Danny Tickles provided to the Widnes club as well. His quality, both on and off the field, and his ability to kick goals from touchline is going to be tested here.
Yeah, he's had it from one sideline, shoved it across the face, down from the other sideline. Well, that isn't going to trouble anything. Well, it went under the bar between the posts. It'd have been all right a week ago. It'd have been a fantastic free kick from out wide there. Something that Aguero or Nasri would have been very pleased with. But it doesn't really count very much this afternoon, I'm afraid, Danny. It's 12-8 to the Salford City Reds. Both conversions missed by Tickles.
I've been interested watching Kevin Brown since that try was scored. I know he drifted off and come up with a great play, which is indication of his ability to read the game. He's such a competitor. He's been arguing with the trainers and the runners out there. He's trying to work out what the positional change is since Clark is out. And that's the competitor in him. He wants to be organised so he can get the best plays out of him. You saw some vision when John was talking. We've argued with the team, moving the team up. So he's really up for this. He's really looking around and organising his troops well.
Just mentioning Danny Tickle there, signing from Hull. They also signed Paul Johnson from Hull, and the Vikings have raided the KC Stadium again for next season with Aaron Herremeier on his way to Widnes Vikings for 2015 and 2016. Bit of pillaging from the Vikings.
Must be the colours,
squad. Yes, it fits in nicely. Didn't have to change his kit hardly, does he? But Widnes are doing it very slowly and very steadily, as you mentioned before. 14th in 2012, 10th in 2013, up to 6th now. And if they were to stay 6th, that would be their best Super League finish.
And, you know, the try scorer just was Jack Owens, a Widnes Vikings academy product, has played fullback, his best and most natural position for the past couple of weeks in the absence of Rhys Hambry. And Dennis Betts has done exceptionally well to keep pushing these young players through the ranks at Widnes. It is, you know, it's a breeding ground of talent, is the Widnes area, and it's great to see a club like Widnes getting the value of doing all that hard work behind the scenes.
Whereas Salford have taken the exact opposite approach of building from the top. It's a top build situation there, isn't it? They've got the big money, big name stars coming in at top level and looking to then drift that down and filter it down. We've mentioned Kevin Locke coming in. They've also got Ben Jones-Bishop coming in from Leeds next season. And, well, who knows who else Dr. Kukash might lure to the AJ Bell Stadium. Here they lead by 12 points to 8, 2 tries apiece. The 2 goals from Mulaney effectively the difference. They scored on their last attack from Chase, the last 2 attacks from Chase and Sow, in point of fact. Can they make it a hat-trick of tries from 3 consecutive attacks? Logan Tompkins, oh, and now half a touch from Mulaney, and the ball is hurled back in towards Logan Tompkins. He can't pick it up.
Well, you can see what the Red Devils are trying to do. They're working at the ruck. They know that Widnes have got some experience, some size, some quality off the field. It's probably one of the smallest packs in Super League on the field at the moment for the Widnes Vikings. That's where the Red Devils are directing their go forward. They just need a little bit of a better play at the end of it there from Jake Mullaney.
Well, still to come this afternoon and into the evening. Hull against Hull KR next up here. And then the marquee match of the first day of the Magic weekend, where the league leaders Leeds and grand final favourites Leeds take on the champions Wigan Warriors in a rematch of what we saw at Headingley Carnegie a couple of weeks ago. That's a penalty. Greg Eden ran behind his man. Tim Roby blows the whistle. It was Danny Williams who drifted in front. And, well, Eden just carried on running. Had he stopped and came back the way he'd come from, he'd probably been okay. But in the end, he was pinged.
Simple rule, you can't run behind one of your own players that may cause disruption to the side. That's one disruption. John Clark off the field. That's not a part of the plan. Neither was the injury to Danny Craven.
Let's go down to Graham Beecroft, get some news of John Clark.
He's got a problem, John Clark, with his calf. The back of his calf is heavily iced. I spoke to the doctor, he would say no more than it's a calf injury. If it's a strain, it might be very serious in terms of this particular game for the Vikings.
Thanks, Graham. OK, we'll keep an eye on that. Kevin Brown, Hanbury. This will be another. Can he get it down? I think it's Chris Dean who's scrambled over the try line. He believes it's down. Tim Roby isn't sure. Chris Dean got over the line for sure. Did he get the ball down over the try line? He's pretty confident. The question is, do the video refs see it the same way as the witness centre?
Well, again, it's all about the grounding now. Does he get the ball down on the ground? He certainly looked like he was favoured to do so. But again, Junior Sarr's a very strong man. Does he manage to hold him up? See from there, well, you'd have to think that he got the ball down on that occasion. Junior Sarr's got his hand underneath the ball, so that could be significant. He manages to hold him up. See the ball? Well, I think the ball's got to have gone on the ground. There it is. It's on the ground there. Hand is in possession. I think that'll be a try.
Point score 1-1 now.
Well, they've had one
to be happy with getting the head back over the top.
One disallowed, haven't they, already today? Lloyd White with a try disallowed earlier, but this time witness believe that the decision will be going their way. And it does. And it does. So witness level at 12 apiece. Chris Dean, 5th try of the Super League season. And Dean, along with Flynn and Owens, have now put witness level.
There's the error. There's the cross. Unforced, unnecessary. Lloyd White and dummy half. Kevin Brown playing both scrum half and standoff. He's all over the field, and Chris Dean runs a great line, very powerful, very strong, into collision, and has the wherewithal to put the ball over the whitewash.
Well, Tony asked how they're going to reorganise. Well, it looks as if Lloyd White's running the dummy half. It looks as if Kevin Brown's the main pivot, but it looks as if Reece Hanbury stepped up to the plate as well, and it was him that supplied the final pass to Chris Dean.
Well, Danny Tickle is yet to trouble the scoreboard operator so far this afternoon, and again he's having to kick from the sideline, the former Hull FC second rower. And bearing in mind, they made a real hash of his last attempt, so his confidence levels may not be 100%. Can he get his first goal of the day, which would put Widnes back into the lead? Remember, they led very early on. They led 4-0 after Paddy Flynn's early try. Tickle has struck it okay, but he still missed it. Well, he is one of the most lethal goal kickers in the competition. He regularly kicks at well over 80%, Danny Tickle, but not today.
I thought then he'd aim for the far left post and let it swing in, a natural left foot kicker, just to finish off, put the extra 2 points onto a fantastic piece of play from the Widnes Vikings. A, to score a try as good as that against a full-strength Salford side, but B, and probably more importantly, to do it without your starting hooker and your starting standoff.
Well, Widnes have got goal-kicking options. They have got Jack Owens, who they could use. They could hook Tickle out of the goal-kicking action, or they could use Hanbury as well. So they may choose to do that.
They'll stick with Tickle, no doubt about that. He's the best goal kicker out there, and you know, what is it? Form is temporary, class is permanent. Well, I'm certain Danny Tickle will show that. But there must be a concern for the Red Devils in that they're scoring some great tries. They're really throwing a lot at the Wigan defence, but every time Widnes have got into that 20-metre zone, they look as if they're capable of scoring.
Yeah, Tickle kicked 10 on his first appearance for Widnes out of 11 attempts against London, 24 points that day in his first appearance in the black and white of Widnes.
Red Devils just looking a little bit ragged to me. I mean, Danny Tickle got an offload in. Gareth Hock had given a penalty away on the previous play. A little bit sloppy, but it means that Salford aren't winning contact. They're not dominating. If Widnes can do that, Danny Tickle can toss the ball out of like an unforeseen backdoor, then they can do it at any point.
There are a few calls from the Widnes players out there after a high tackle there. In the previous tackle there, Tim Roby wasn't having any of that. Widnes 2 tackles left here, and can they close down Kevin Brown this time? Well, he's still got an awful lot of time and space, which would have to be a concern if you were a Salford Red Devils player or member of the coaching staff, because Brown is getting enough time to play the Salford defence like a violin as he chips forward once more, looking for Christine, knocked on by Melly. Knocked on by Melly. Tim Roby hasn't given anything yet. He's playing on, and the band played on. Carry on. 0 tackle is the call. Brown, short ball this time. Now Widnes have knocked it on. It was a free play, though, because Salford had knocked on via Francis Melly. So now they'll go back to the scrum on the 10 metres line, and Widnes will have the ball once more.
That's the correct decision, because it was blatantly a knock-on from Melly. And, you know, the new law that was brought in last year, the new interpretation, lets you have a free play. If nothing comes of it, you haven't perceived to have gained an advantage. Back it goes to the original knock-on.
Well, Widnes just seemed bemused by it, didn't they? And they didn't really make the most of that opportunity, John, because they really could have done something quite creative there, couldn't they? And still had a second bite.
They certainly could.
Let's see what they create here, though. Phil Joseph, big Phil Joseph. More clubs than Tiger Woods. This is his 7th. Phil Joseph been just about everywhere. Came on trial to Widnes last year and was so impressive that they've given him a 2-year contract now. Big Phil. Gone backwards really there, Widnes, but they're still in possession. They've still got another 4 tackles in the bank here, the Vikings, who are looking to go back in front. 12 all. They've scored 3 tries to 2. However, again, it's Brown. Kicks early in the count this time. Over the head of Melly, who's going to drop in his own goal area, and it will be a dropout.
Well, Kevin Brown was planning that as that ball was being set up on the previous play. Beautiful little kick. They do fancy taking on Francis Melly in the air for the 2nd consecutive kick. He spilt the ball on, albeit under a little bit of pressure this time from Paddy Flynn, and it's a weakness I think that the Widnes Vikings will probably try to exploit as and when they get the ball back on this set of 6.
Well, good pressure here from Widnes, because they're now forcing what will be a 3rd consecutive set of 6. Oh, cheeky, but it's not going to work. Well, you can't pick it up there, Rangi, but it was the lesser of 2 evils. Giving a penalty away there for Rangi Chase was probably better than giving what may have been 6 points away. But should that be a yellow card, Stuart? If he'd knocked him over at a dropout, it would have been a yellow card. Is that a professional foul for Mr. Chase?
Back chat subject, isn't it? Yellow card just appearing out there. No, that's not a yellow card. That's just you know, it's one of these rules where you've got to somebody's got to play the ball and somebody's got to wait for it. So no yellow card for me.
Fair enough. What it is, with Widnes on the attack, they turned down what would have been a simple penalty, even though Tickle's missed everything this afternoon. I'm pretty sure, without fear of contradiction, he wouldn't have missed that.
That's a clear sign of confidence from the Widnes Vikings. They think they've got Salford on the rack. They found 3 breaks in their line so far. You're quite right, 2 points would have been an absolute gift, and you get the ball back, but they've gone to run the play.
I think both teams probably know, Paul, don't they? There's going to be a lot more tries scored in this game, and maybe that 2 points wouldn't be that significant. That's obviously the thinking, and as you said, that they believe they can score a try either from this sequence or force another consecutive set of tackles. Sow messing around a little bit there. Tim Roby plays on. Danny Tickle has knocked on.
Well, that might have actually given Salford a lot of confidence. That's 3 sets they've defended on their own line, and prior to that, it looks as if they couldn't defend a set on their own line. So they may well grow in confidence, and it may well prove to be the wrong decision, not only on the scoreboard, but psychologically as well.
There's a very good argument to take points that are gifted. I mean, if you want to run a set, you might want to put some fatigue into the opposition ranks when you're doing it, but you're getting close to the half. We're approaching 35 minutes. Salford won't fall to pieces in the next 5 minutes. That literally was 2 points that were gifted to Widnes, thrown away.
It's a very good point, and I noticed the Widnes players were actually debating, and it wasn't like a natural, let's take this and let's just go, we were right on top. They looked to the sideline, they were looking for questions. Go back to the fact that Craven's not there, Clark's not there, a bit of adversity. Get your nose in front in the scoreboard, take the 1 or 2 minutes rest, and maybe dominate the last couple of minutes here. So they might regret that one, but you understand at the heat of the battle, they won't kick themselves too hard to make them.
I always think, Tony, that if they'd have taken the kick there and got the 2 points, you're going back with something. No one would criticise you for having an extra 2 points on the board. You blow your play, and everybody does criticise. Now you can see the penalty. You're going on back-to-back. You're going to now have to defend your own try line, as we know, against the Salford City Red side, Red Devils side, that can score from anywhere, certainly down there.
Yeah, McGrath Lulai, wasn't it, who came in with the shoulder charge. Arm down, no wrap from the arms, and that's what's given Salford this great field position.
Which Gareth Hock has just handed straight back to the Widnes Vikings. Rampaging run, and then offloading without due care and attention, and Widnes have the ball back.
Well, Gareth Hock, he really is rocks or diamonds, isn't it? You know, very, very difficult to take. He could have flicked a pass there through his legs and someone had gone full length and scored, but you know, it's just what he does. You just got no idea what he's going to do when he goes into the play. What
he has done is knocked another player around. Lloyd White, the replacement for Craven, is out there and he's in a little bit of bother. He's with the trainer. He is struggling a bit there. The physicality of Hock is unbelievable. You really do want him ripping in and doing those things. You're going to get some reward because of the way he went at that play.
He was a little bit too physical here a couple of years back. He was sent off in that mass brawl between Wigan and St Helens when the cards were flying, and Hock received a red that year. Didn't play here last year for Widnes against Salford, so looking to get it right here at the Etihad Stadium in Manchester. Gareth Hock, and Salford and Widnes locked at 12 apiece. 3 minutes to go before half-time. Salford 2 tries, Widnes 3. The goal kicking of Mulaney making the difference. Francis Melly getting his hands on the football and limping away from the play of the ball. Melly as well. Chase moving into a prominent position, but they go this side to Junior Sow. Sow has already rumbled over the try line once, fancied breaking through a couple of tackles there, but couldn't do so on this occasion. Now it's picked up by Stuart Howarth. Now Chase, who didn't want it there, but he's made something of it. Rangi Chase still going. Oh, fantastic stuff from Chase. A kick ahead, and that's going to be a Widnes ball. Now hang on a minute.
Well, I think he's offside.
Widnes player, was he offside?
I think he's offside again, similar to the.
That's why I hesitated. I thought he was as well.
Similar to the first game we had, he's in front of the player. He shouldn't have played it.
Got to give Tim Roby a little bit of credit, though. It's like watching pinball. You don't quite know what's going to bounce off and what's going to pop up next. These 2 chip throughs and a flick pass, one look forward. Goodness no, you know, here we go. He spins out, he kicks, he flicks up. Everybody wants in on the act at Salford. There's another second kick, and it comes into the awaiting and grateful arms of Chris Dean.
And he was offside. Yes, so they've got away with that, but let's get on with the game. It's great.
Here we go. We get on with it. Chris Dean, who scored the 3rd of the 3 Widnes tries so far. Knocked down on the halfway line. Chase and Sow doing the tackling. Hanbury, high, long, spiralling bomb. Was collected quite comfortably this time. And not always the cleanest of catches the high ball, Greg Eden, but he took that one beautifully. The play the ball was a little bit of a mishmash. Harrison Hansen made something of it for a moment. Widnes looked like burgling the ball back just outside the Salford 20, but the Red Devils still have it. Oh, Rangi Chase, not on the same wavelength. Junior Sow was not in the right postcode.
It's something I've said a number of times so far this season. I honestly don't need, although I'm a massive fan, a massive admirer of the skills of Rangi Chase, I really don't need to see another trick shot. I've seen enough so far this season. If I was a fan of the Red Devils and not just a fan of rugby league, I'd want to see them grinding away, completing sets, kick and chasing. That's what's going to get them up the table, not just trick shots that come off every now and again.
Chase would no doubt hold a different view, that if the winger was actually on the wing, it might have been a try at the other end, and I'm sure Dr. Kukash would have enjoyed watching it.
Well, the trick shot's got to work if the winger's on the wing and he's got his eyes open. Not everyone can play this game at the speed and pace and vision of Rangi Chase.
Widnes back in possession with time ticking away. 25 seconds are left in this first half. All square. Can Widnes fashion something in these closing seconds? A chip through from Rhys Hanbury. Paddy Flynn was shepherded off the ball, eased off the ball, and that may well just about do it for the first half's action between Salford and Widnes, because Tim Roby's given the dropout, and I don't think we're going to have enough time to get to it. As the siren goes at the Etihad Stadium after an end-to-end first half, which finishes level. We've seen 5 tries. Widnes have scored 3 of them.